Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Inside the Fowl podcast brings you episode 34 with the opinions and perspectives of a couple best friends. And if you don't like that call, we've got 3 words for you. You're out of here. We are your hosts, bringing you the playoff special edition episode of Inside the Fowl podcast. Chris and Ethan.
Instead of the 3 words, it should be, I'm already at home. Because, my team's sitting at home this postseason. Yeah, a little salty about this. Got to hear, got to see the Yankee fan talk about and hear about him. Someone eliminate him. Red Sox, do it for me. It's bad enough he won the fantasy championship.
Did, and I won it in dominant fashion. And 12 points to 777.
Listen, your opponent got a text message today and said, way to go, thanks. Get choked. Okay. Either way, I was dreaded either way, whoever won.
It's okay, Chris. You can enjoy the postseason of the fantasy team from the couch, just like the Braves are going to enjoy this postseason from the couch.
Just for that, we're going to talk about the Boston-New York matchup. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Because hopefully the Red Sox send you home, sir.
Okay.
Because you got free crochet.
As a Yankees fan, screw you. As a legitimate fan of baseball and knowing the struggles that the Yankees have had against Red Sox this year, it's not far-fetched for us to have problems with the Red Sox. It just depends on what version of the Yankees shows up, because the biggest thing is one moment you're dominant and you're performing really well with the bats, and the next you're making fielding errors and giving up runs.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that you're both sending out your 2 best pitchers for game 1.
Yep. Max Fried and Garrett Crochet.
And I will say, Garrett kind of had y'all's number this year.
Yeah, the batting averages against Garrett Crochet haven't been too great. I will say the last time we saw him, we did really well. We performed strongly against him. I would like to see that happen again, although the last time, no, I think we did play them last at home. But either way, the problem still remains. Even if we get through Boston, what's waiting for us in the ALDS?
Yeah, because you got Bello game 2 versus Rodon, and then game 3. We don't really know what's going to happen pitching-wise. Let's see if it gives me a preview.
So Lucas Giolito has been scratched from everyone's potential third pitcher for the Red Sox. As of right now, the Yankees will be pitching Schlittler, but we don't know who the Red Sox are going to use. They may go with a bullpen game. You never know, because they may go bullpen game. So Giolito, if they win game 3, if it goes to a game 3, they have Giolito strong, fresh, and ready to go, and they can burn maybe a couple more arms out of the bullpen. That's just my thinking. But again, It has to get to a game 3 for that to happen. Because either team could do it in 2 games. Like, let's be honest. Either team could do it.
Listen, I'm just going to say, if Boston wins in 2 games, to our listeners out there, I don't want to be Ethan.
Wins in 2 games, it's going to be a very
episode
rough
35 is going to be very interesting. Might have to send the podcast some tissues.
I'm gonna have
tissue
to have
edition
by then, so I can quiet you by the fantasy ring that I'll have on my finger.
Listen. You can finally get a World Series for Aaron Judge. So
listen,
I'm going to save one matchup for last because I feel like it's the most intriguing matchup.
If you say Detroit and Cleveland, I'm going to kick your ass.
No, I was going to say San Diego, Chicago. I feel like that's going to be a very competitive matchup.
I don't know, because the Cubs, they had a lot of great moments throughout the season. I will give them that. But when it came down to be crunch time, they were kind of hit or miss. Unfortunately, the Padres were great at the beginning of the season, tapered off for a few months, and then came back bombing, like killing everything again.
Well, the reason I say intriguing is both of those, game 1 and game 2, start at 2:00 in the afternoon.
What? That's disrespectful.
Yep. Okay, 3:08 Eastern, but it's basically 2:00 Chicago time.
Yeah.
And no offense, that's going to be great for a guy that works from home, going to have the game on. Go Cubs, go.
I mean, in that aspect, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see the Cubs succeed, but the Padres, they hold a special place in my heart for their ability to knock off the Dodgers every year. So we may need that if the Dodgers, because they're going to get through the Reds.
Yeah, see, but here's the thing. The last time Cincinnati and the Dodgers played, the Reds swept the Dodgers,
Valid.
So,
But see,
and
I don't
you also
know.
don't know what pitching matchup you're going to get with the Dodgers. Like, you got Snell pitching game 1 against Hunter Green, okay? Then game 2, we have to be determined against to be determined. So, it's going to be quite interesting.
Valid.
Because here's the thing.
I don't see the Padres laying down. So yes, it'll be a competitive game. I just see the Padres getting the competitive edge over the Cubs because the Cubs kind of like to choke in the postseason.
Let's see. That first game is Boyd versus Pivette, and then it's Dylan Cease versus to be determined. So I don't know. Well, because here's the thing. It's in Chicago. The Cubs, those fans are going to be rowdy. And can San Diego finally get over the hump?
My thing is, even if San Diego wins, look who they have to go against in the DS. They face Milwaukee, who has had a complete resurgence this season to make them the number 1 seed in the NL.
Yeah, I think that's the most shocking thing, because looking back 28 episodes ago when we did week 1 of the season, we all said Milwaukee, it's going to be a long season, and now knowing that team is the number 1 seed in the NL, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. To say that whoever, whether the Cubs or whether the Padres, that's a rough fight ahead of them. And my thing is, I think the Cubs have a better advantage if the Cubs play Milwaukee and beating them just because of how often they see one another. But I could see the Padres really being dominant just because of what they do in the postseason. I mean, let's not forget their run that was only stopped by the Dodgers.
Yeah. See, listen, I'm rooting for anyone in the NL except the Dodgers. So, I would like to see a new team win it. As much as you want your Yankees to win it, I'd love to see, a team we haven't seen.
But you know what I would really love to see? And I know you and I talked about this earlier, and we'll get into the brackets that we've put together ourselves. But I just want to see Yankees Brewers World Series, because think of it this way, the storylines that you get out of that after the way the season started, like, let's be honest, the first 3 games made you really look at Milwaukee like, oh, here we go again. Because I mean, now don't get me wrong, it's so early in the season, you don't predict that the team that got beat the living dog crap out of in the beginning of the season would be your number 1 seed in the National League. But imagine what it would be, and as a Yankee fan, this hurts me to say, imagine if Milwaukee beat the Yankees in the World Series. How badass
and the game-winning pitcher is nested.
Full circle.
What if that pitcher that wins that last game is Cortez?
Okay, now you done ruined something I thought would be funny and gone and just perverted it. No.
Listen, I've got to. Listen, you know what the matchup I really want to see? That I didn't pick because this is my dream matchup. I want to see the Yankees get destroyed by the Reds. The little team, cheapest, one of those small payroll teams, just throttle.
That would never happen.
Just because, yes, but that's why it's a dream scenario. The small
You've been
guy.
Drinking the Kool-Aid, haven't you?
Listen.
You've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Ellie De La Cruz train
does something to you.
Listen, I want to see somebody. Listen, I'm good if we see a Seattle, or you ready for this dream scenario for the state of Ohio? Cleveland versus the Reds. No matter what, you got a winner. Okay?
That would be kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. That would be kind of funny.
That's a dream matchup. Because can you imagine those one side of the family, Reds fans, the other side, Guardians fans, die hard. That would be a great Thanksgiving meal. Remembering, hey, do y'all remember losing to us?
Yeah, listen. You don't ruin my fantasies. Like, I understand the postseason does something to you when you're not in it, but you ain't got to be so hurtful.
Well, since we're going to be hurtful, we'll go over here to the Detroit-Cleveland matchup. The most entertaining series so far,
Okay, so here's my thing. What if Detroit shows back up? Like, I know, let's be realistic, after the way their season tanked to the end, it's due for that resurgence. I doubt it's going to happen, but they're due. At the
Like,
same time, like, wouldn't it be kind of funny to see them just come back, be dominant, and sweep their way through to the World Series?
well, you ready for this? Well, the Tigers better call on Tony the Tiger, and they better eat their Wheaties and come ready because I hate to say it, the Guardians are
They're
probably the
rough
hottest things.
looking.
They're hot right now. They're like, if I'm playing the Guardians, I hate to say it,
What's
you're going
worse is
in
you're
knowing you're
used
going
to
to war.
playing them.
Yeah, that's even worse. I mean, I will say the pitching matchup game 1 is Skubal versus G. Williams. Okay, just gonna say it. If you can win against that Skubal, you take game 1. You basically take their ace and say, "Hey, nice meeting you. You know, good game."
I mean, fair.
And you got to think,
I just
2, you got to look at it too. 4 weeks ago, we were like, the Guardians are done. You know, put a fork in them. And I'm not gonna lie. Maybe looked at that team and said, "Hey, get me there, and I'll pitch game 2 against TBD. Baby, gonna win it." Okay.
I know because I had him in fantasy and he scored 30 points in the regular season game.
Listen, we don't bring up that, okay? All right. You know. So
I will say this postseason is a lot more eclectic in a way.
yes.
And the reason I say that is it's not your normal, typical guys. Like, yeah, you got the Dodgers, you have the Yankees, but Detroit, Cleveland, they're in there pretty regularly, but they don't make it very far. You know, and then you got the Reds. Let's talk about that. Miami, listen, you made some people very angry yesterday because to the point that when they finished their game, the Miami Marlins beat, the Mets 4-0. Took a team photo outside the dugout in Mets Stadium as if they just made it to the postseason, and they had some people angry. The announcers in particular.
Hold on, I got a phone call. Juan Soto is on the phone right now. He's salty that he picked the wrong New York team. Listen, he chose money and caught an L. Caught an L with some money.
Because Miami, of all teams, Miami did it to you?
Yeah. Like, cheap payroll versus the highest payroll, and the little guy said, not only did our AAA team win the AAA National Championship, we're also going to win the World Series of the regular season by sending home the Mets. So,
but
little guy
I feel like
said,
they did us a favor. Introduced the Reds, gave us the Reds. I don't think the Reds are going to make it past the wild card, but, somebody's got to go. It sucks that it has to be them.
I'm actually, low-key, probably going to be the biggest Red fan that's not actually a Red fan this week, okay? Might have to go, slap a C on this hat, get my red hat jersey on,
Gross.
stick a, because here's the thing. Can you imagine being, I was going to say, can you imagine being the Reds if you take out the Dodgers?
Man, imagine the amount of momentum you would have going into your
round 2 against the Phillies.
That could be, it could be interesting.
Because the real thing is, okay, I hate to bring this up, but Toronto, okay, all y'all had to do to win 1 game more than they did.
Well, they won their last 3. Okay, we swept the end of the season. What more do you want us to do? The Toronto Blue Jays just won the same amount. Come on. The problem is the Yankees couldn't beat Toronto in the regular season. Who are we mad at here? Are we mad at the fact that they didn't win the end of the season? Or are we mad that they didn't beat them in the regular season? That's what I'm mad about.
Well, the question is, okay, since we're talking about the wonderful Blue Jays, I'm going to look at you pretty deep here, sir. Can you beat them in the postseason? That's the real question. Can you beat them in the postseason?
Maybe they can channel their inner Ethan from fantasy because Watson beat me all season long, and I beat him when it mattered to win the championship. So if we can just get that kind of momentum out of the Yankees, because the Yankees aren't done by any stretch of the imagination, okay? The Red Sox got a rough team coming because the Yankees are playing with a lot of momentum. Okay. Hey, you just won your last 8 games to finish out the season. Now, granted, I'm not even going to argue the fact of who it was against. It was against the White Sox and the Orioles, but you kind of need that little pump. Okay, you gotta beat the bad teams to get your momentum up sometimes.
Yeah, I will say. But here's the question though. Out of the 4 teams that aren't playing this week, which one of those benefit from the rest? Is it Toronto, Philly, Milwaukee, Seattle? Because Philly's been in this
Philly
spot and
does.
fell. Yeah, you know, I feel like Philly, you might get Wheeler back, you might not,
I think
pitching wise.
Milwaukee comes back awkward after a rest. And it sucks to say that about your number one team, but I think they get a little too relaxed and it's closer than it should be.
So thinking of that, I actually thought about that. If it's the Cubs, I think they come out ready to fight because knowing interdivision hate. If it's San Diego, I feel like it's they
Yeah,
come out lackluster. But if it's the Cubs, like if say y'all win or either way, Toronto knows this is a battle that they're prepared for because they faced y'all. If it was that opponent that I haven't seen except through 6 games this year, they mean really nothing. But there's hatred of that interdivision that could fire up Milwaukee if it's the Cubs.
yeah, you're not wrong.
You
It's
know.
I'm not sure with Milwaukee though, because how many times, like, yes, they've been here in the wild card a couple times, but like this is new territory for them after a long stint. Okay,
Something feels different about this Milwaukee team. Something
I don't know,
feels. I feel like they just got to
because
fight.
I feel like the rest hurts Toronto.
See, I think it helps Toronto, and
I think it
I'm not
helps
saying that's
pitching,
a.
but not your bats.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think it helps the bats too, because I'm going to tell you, George Springer right now is probably riding a horse down some street in downtown Toronto because he said he was going to ride a police horse down the thing, so he needs that extra day to recover.
Yeah,
Toronto doesn't have a bunch of young guys. You have the guys that. Okay, here's the thing. A ring would give Vlad, certification that hey, I can do this. George
I
Springer, it'd
mean,
be nice. It'd be nice to win one that isn't tied to the trash cans.
fair.
And then you
I
got
just
Bo
want the
Bichette.
Mod Podge to just. I need him to Mod Podge again. Okay.
Listen, don't ruin my pick. I told you all year, watch out for Toronto. When we started this podcast 34 episodes ago, I said, hey, something about Toronto kind of scares me.
And I tried to tell you no. Toronto, no. Okay, but you didn't listen.
I didn't have to
Okay.
listen. They did the work for me. Okay.
I hear you.
You know what the one storyline we get in round 2 that's pretty interesting
What's
is
that?
say Dodgers win. The hatred Philadelphia has for Toronto. How intense is that series going to be?
You think
I
it'll be
feel
that
like
bad?
well, you got to think. Every time Philly has gotten close to the World Series, the Dodgers have taken them out in the NLCS.
Yeah.
So, and I hate to say it, this is your best year for Philadelphia. As much as I hate the Phillies, this is your last go because I doubt Schwarber comes back. Riamoto is a free agent. Zach Wheeler's a free agent. Do these guys come back if they can't get over the hump? And how long can Bryce Harper play at the level he's playing at? Because Trey Turner, I'm be honest, my kneecap feels younger than Trey Turner does some days.
Yeah, that's valid.
So I'm gonna be honest, like how many more times can you lose to the Dodgers till you're like, we just can't do it? I mean, look at the Braves. And I only bring this up is when the Braves finally beat the Dodgers, we went into the World Series knowing we could beat anybody because we already took out the best team we were going to face. Okay. So if the Phillies can finally do it.
But my thing is like, you really think that like Harper and Schwarber and all those guys really don't come back, and you have to end up in a situation where you have to win it this year or it's nothing?
I was gonna say, look at Harper's age. How long can he play first base till you have to DH him? And then where do you put Kyle Schwarber? Can't put him in the outfield.
Right. I mean, yeah.
That
because
and
that's fair, because I don't know that they're bringing back Schwarber, even though I feel like they should bring back Schwarber another year. I don't see them doing that. So I mean, you're fair in your assumption that the Phillies need to do it now or never. But do you think that they're able to do it with teams like Toronto and teams like, well, Seattle? Because let's be honest, if the Yankees stroll against Phillies, I don't see us winning that game very easily.
The Phillies, it would all come down who's on the other side of the bracket because I feel like Seattle and y'all are a nightmare matchup for them. Toronto, it could go either way because you never know what you're going to get with Toronto's pitching. So it really just determines. I will say the Seattle matchup round 2 could be very interesting because I feel like Seattle matches up great against Cleveland.
Yes.
I feel like Detroit is an iffy matchup because if you
They
struggle
get
against,
stomped.
well, I feel like if they can hit well against Skubal, you're good. But if you struggle against Skubal, you're basically going, okay, we can't do this.
I mean, but
But
Skubal's just the one pitcher. The rest of their pitching staff isn't. Like, they've proven that they're not as scary towards the end of the season.
yeah, well, and I was gonna say too, what is also in favor of all these teams is you're all hosting games going into the series. So, you kind of have that going into you going, hey, you've got to come to us. Because I'm going to be honest, as much as I dislike your Yankees, going in Toronto is a very familiar place for y'all. So it's nothing out of normal. Where you got Detroit and Cleveland, you only play Seattle 3 games there. But going in there where you're going to have a very hostile, a loud, intense crowd in Seattle, that could be very intimidating. And,
Yes.
midway through the playoffs, they're going to announce award winners. So I hate to say it. This could go either Judge or Cal. But if Cal wins the MVP, how much more does that fire up that crowd? How much more scarier does that make that crowd?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
do you think that the MVP would actually fire up the Seattle crowd?
I think so because when's the last time they had an MVP?
That's fair.
The
I know
last time they,
Griffey couldn't have been the last one, but still.
yeah, but you're telling me if Judge wins the MVP, you don't think that just fires him up more? Because let's be honest, the MVP means nothing unless you win the big one. So that little more motivation goes, okay, I won MVP. Now can I win MVP and a World Series in the same year?
I would like to see it happen. I mean, the Yankees,
Yeah.
they're the team to do it. I've seen a lot this season where they didn't look that strong, and I'm not happy with it.
Yeah, to be honest, knowing, go say y'all sweep, okay? Round 2 starts, let's see, y'all would play Toronto. When does that? October 4th. So,
Yeah.
if y'all sweep, it's not like you get a very long time of rest. You're going to fly to Toronto on the road, and Toronto is going to have their ace. Question is, if you go to 3 games, is Max Fried going to be ready?
That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
I understand postseason they're willing to pitch on short rest. It's just how short a rest are we willing to call short rest? Because that's 4 days compared to 5. Yes, doesn't seem like dropping 1 day off of your rest and recovery time is that bad. But it could mean the difference between you being on and you missing every spot and not locating at all.
I agree. The only reason I bring up that whole situation is Max has had shoulder issues in the past. No, nothing Tommy John, but he's had some shoulder, problems. He's your workhorse. He's your ace. Because, talking to a Yankee fan all season, he's only been high on one pitcher. After it gets to Fried, the question is, do I let Fried beat me and then go, okay, cool. Now make the rest of them do it? Because let's be real.
I think Rodon can do it.
In a hostile environment in Toronto?
Done it before.
Yeah, but this is postseason. He's never done it in the postseason.
Not against Toronto. He did it last season in the postseason. So, I mean,
yeah,
really.
So.
But I like it. For the first time in a while, I'm actually like more excited about this postseason because there's so much that could happen. And if you're someone who's romantic about baseball and about the game and the storylines and all these little niche stats that come out around these things, that to me makes the game even more fun. Like, this is something we're seeing history play out as is with not only Judge's season, but Cal Raleigh's season. Regardless of who wins the MVP, we just saw one of the best seasons from 2 of the most prolific hitters of the season, and one of them does it every year. The other guy, this is his surgence onto the scene. I feel like the home run derby did Cal Raleigh a big favor. 1, for notoriety, but 2, he never slowed down.
No, he didn't. And Seattle made moves to get to the postseason. Like, out of all the teams in the postseason, let's be real, they made the most impactful moves.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Because yes, y'all made a bunch of trades for bullpen, but let's be honest,
didn't pan out in the beginning.
The Dodgers didn't really do anything. The Cubs, they really didn't do anything. Milwaukee didn't do anything. Philly, they traded for some bullpen arms, but they
Couple little
didn't.
things.
Yeah, they didn't really impress me. The Reds, they didn't really do anything. Their young guys just are being young guys. Boston, they didn't really trade for nobody.
No.
They traded away people.
Yeah, they
They got
got
a
rid of
starting pitcher.
Devers.
Yeah, they got a starting pitcher, but we don't know if he's going to pitch in the playoffs. Toronto basically kept their same core and signed some players in the free agency, But Seattle, without those moves, I don't see Seattle being in the playoffs right now.
I don't either.
You know?
I don't either. And I will say that trade deadline was probably won by Seattle. 100%. And
100%.
to see these teams play it out the way they have, and to see just how powerful like just small trades have done and been for these guys, it's awesome. Like, I love the sport, so all these things are just fun to me to see. And like, the casual person watching probably doesn't see it, but like, when you think about what it took for 162 games to play out, to the fact that even the AL East was down to the very last game to be decided this year. And what's even worse is no team this year broke 100 wins.
And there was no hitters this season.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Although Yamamoto got real close. Real close.
Listen, just going to say it. Post only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and we play in baseball. You need to look at your bullpen and say, hey, I could have had the only no-hitter. So, I'm very excited about this year because, okay, I will say, I wish my Braves were in the postseason, but it's great because I don't have a horse in the race. So, I kind of have two picks, even though one is like, I'm going to be honest, it's so far-fetched. I don't see it happen. But we as a podcast, we started a ESPN bracket postseason challenge. Okay. I know this will come out tomorrow when the games start. But how do you feel about your, how do I say it? Is it so heavily Yankee favored that there's more bias in your poll?
Okay, so the reason that Ethan has a bias, this is what I want to talk about these brackets for. Okay, so when you sent me the brackets, it let me do two brackets. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I did
Only one
both
gets
brackets. Yes, but my one that I put in, I just had to. The Yankee fan had to put in the biased Yankee. It's not so Yankee biased, but let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to try to screenshot the brackets and post them tomorrow when this goes live. But while Ethan is pulling up his bracket, I'll talk about my Chris's Chaos bracket because I have some upsets, but I don't have some upsets. So I have the Guardians beating the Tigers because right now the Guardians are the hottest thing since sliced bread.
So then my biased pick has the Guardians doing the same thing.
Okay. I have the Red Sox beating the Yankees because something about you struggled all year with them. Postseason time. Can your pitchers do it? I'm more worried about your pitching staff than I am your hitters.
I picked the Yankees. You can go to the next matchup now.
And then so I'll finish the AL. I'm at the AL, and then I'll go over to. I have the Blue Jays beating the Red Sox.
I have the Yankees beating the Blue Jays.
Okay. I have Seattle beating the Guardians.
I have Seattle beating the Guardians.
And I have the Seattle Mariners beating the Blue Jays.
I have MVP candidate versus MVP candidate, the Yankees versus the Mariners, and the Yankees take it.
Okay. So I have the Dodgers beating the Reds. Even though I want the Reds to win, I have to be realistic. I don't see it happening.
I have the Dodgers beating the Reds.
Yeah, I have the Cubs beating the Padres. Something about playing in Wrigley Field, postseason games. As long as, you don't let a fan touch the ball, it's hard to pick against the Cubs. Okay?
I picked the Padres to beat the Cubs.
Picking a bunch of shortstops.
The Padres are due.
Yeah. I have the Brewers beating the Cubs. Something about the Brewers this year. I
have the Brewers over the Padres.
Okay. And I have the Phillies over the Dodgers.
I have Phillies over the Dodgers because, goodbye Dodgers. Go away.
Yeah.
You hurt me once, don't get a chance to hurt me again.
It's the only time you're probably going to hear me ever say I picked the Phillies to win something, okay? But then I have them losing to the Brewers the following week.
Yes, me too. Because I get my matchup that I want, Yankees versus Brewers.
See, I have Seattle versus the Brewers. I feel like it's two teams that, honestly, at the start of the season, you didn't see.
No, that's fair.
And I have the Mariners winning.
The what?
I have the Mariners I have the Mariners beating the Brewers because you got to think.
Good Lord.
Hear me out. I'm going to sell you on this right now. The Brewers at the start of the season struggled against the Yankees lineup. Probably the Yankees are one of the best lineups that the Brewers seen all season, right?
Fair.
Because the Brewers struggled against the Dodgers too. The Mariners are the closest thing you're going to see to both of those lineups.
Fair. Without
seeing, seeing those two teams. And something about the Mariners, it's hard not to root for them. You know, they never won it with Griffey, never won it with Ichiro. Something about it, it's that underdog story that you just want to see them plant that Triton right next to that World Series trophy. You know, something about it just sounds magical. It's like a Disney story.
No. So, my unbiased bracket.
Yes, let's talk about this one. This is the one that I feel very intrigued by.
So, as someone who has been devoted to a baseball podcast all season, who has watched the ups, the downs, the injuries, everything of the major leagues this season, and kept up with it, and tried to talk about it, I have Cleveland over the Tigers, round one. Cleveland's just Tigers are on that downswing. Cleveland takes it. Yankees over Red Sox first round because, Red Sox, I just can't pick the Red Sox. I'm sorry. Dodgers over Reds, obviously, and Cubs over Padres. Okay, kind of similar to yours. This is where it gets a little different. Okay. Mariners take the Guardians. That one, obvious. Blue Jays beat the Yankees. That one kind of hurts. Logically, that's how scared I am about our matchup with the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Phillies over Dodgers because I'll always no to the Dodgers. Brewers over the Cubs because that would be, nice. But here's where it's funny. Toronto beats the Mariners.
Did not see that.
That's how I feel about that. Mariners.
Yeah.
The Mod Podge team proves me wrong and beats the Mariners to take their seat in the World Series. Followed by the Phillies versus Brewers, where the Phillies would take the win over the Brewers just because of the lineup.
Yeah.
Giving you a Phillies-Blue Jays World Series where the Phillies lose to the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays win the World Series.
So, all I can think is, okay, because, I did not see this coming from, I will say I did a bracket where I had the Reds versus Guardians, just because I thought it was pure entertainment of having the whole state of Ohio being the focus of baseball. Instead of the Subway Series, we're just going to call it the Battle of the O, because, I would love to see the Cubs in the World Series for a friend, just like if you win, I'll be happy if you win one. But I would love to see someone that we don't see coming, like the Reds. How cool would it be to see the Reds win the World Series, or Seattle, or the Tigers, because if the Tigers win, Charlie Morton gets a ring. Okay.
This is true.
So, I will say the bracket could go multiple ways, because I will say the Reds are riding the momentum train. I'm looking at the
thing they always say about baseball is any given day, anybody can be beaten. It doesn't matter. It's why we play 162 games. That's why this sport is unlike any other sport that is played to this day. That's why the sport sees the fanatics that it has and the people that are diehards and the people that are generational sharing these teams with their kids. And it's because this game is just that unique. It's just that beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I will say, side note really quick before I go back to talk about the postseason. Game 162 for a Braves fan, watching Charlie Morton take that mound, possibly for the last time in his career, it was very touching. And then flipping over to check the Reds score, to check the Yankees score, to check the, once I checked the Blue Jays score and I saw that they were up by 10 plus runs, I said, I need to quit checking this one because this one means nothing. And then flipping over to check the Mets score and go, the Marlins are doing this. Can they, we have a listener that is a diehard Reds fan, Jay, watching his Discord as he's counting the outs, watching it go from 12 outs to 9 outs to 6 outs to, holy crap, 3 outs, because he's a lifelong Reds fan. He lives 30 minutes from Red Stadium. And he's watching that fall through the Discord chat of counting the outs, knowing okay, my team's out, but watching all this, like, how often does 162 really mean that much? I feel like this
Yeah.
is the first time in a long time that game 162 mattered, you know? And watching Milwaukee celebrate the Reds getting into the postseason, I'm like, you know, you play in the same division. And to watch that moment as they congratulated the Reds and the Milwaukee fans are cheering on the Reds in that moment, I'm like, this is why I love baseball. Because, yes, you hate each other. But knowing they got in and no one saw the Reds getting in, except me all season, I said, hey, the Reds are going to be sneaky. You know, you got to watch out for them, you know? So thank you, Reds, for doing exactly what I've been saying all year is something about them. Terry Francona. I mean, he won it with the Red Sox. Almost won it with the Guardians against the Cubs. You know, it went to game 7. Something about Terry Francona and the postseason. Watch out, Dodgers. The little Reds could do it, you know?
I don't know. Listen, imagine what that does for them.
Okay, I'm no like superstition, but they do have a man upstairs called Pete Rose that could interchannel the Angels in the infield. Okay, just saying. Who needs them in the outfield? Pete Rose played in the infield. You could finally get Ellie De La Cruz 4-for-4 postseason. You know, game-winning hit. I'm just saying. I'm writing the script here. Okay, you know, because to win it the same year Pete Rose is unbanned from baseball. Just saying, Cincinnati's going crazy. Okay, Rob Manfred, I just wrote the script for you. Make it happen. Okay, sad.
That's the thing. Like, this is what makes it so much fun. Is like you would be romantic about it even if your team doesn't win, and it's like
Look at me. I've
part
been
of me
out for
be a
2
little
months.
upset. Part of me be a little upset, especially if it's the Reds. But
see, I won't be upset if the Reds win. Just because then, you know, invite Pete Rose's kids there. You let them touch the trophy, you know, knowing this moment's not just for us, it's for Pete too, you know?
yeah,
You know, or you got Milwaukee. Okay? I'm just saying. One of the main reasons I watch Major League is for the announcer. Okay? Come on. You could win it. Knowing he's looking down, chugging beers, you know, throwing a crazy, you know, yeah, you got the biggest cheerleader right there. Come on. Okay?
listen,
You know?
there's so much that we could say about the postseason to bring all of this around, because even for the Yankees, it's been 15 years.
Here we go. No one cares.
Listen here, I could be romantic about my team. Okay, thank you very much. But like,
90.
there's like, but imagine the Dodgers. Even the Dodgers, if they can get a second one back to back for them and send Kershaw out with one more ring, bro. Kershaw with one more ring
Hello?
after hitting 3,000.
Hold on, Disney's calling. That is not the script we want. Okay? They said no. No. They got to make no. They can stick with their Mickey Mouse ring. No. No. Okay? As much as I would love to see Clayton go on top, no. I'd rather see you guys win it and you tell me about it every day for the rest of my life than the Dodgers. No. Nada. No. Okay? No. Okay?
The question is, who's hurt you more, the Dodgers or the Yankees?
Lately, the Dodgers. As a child, the Yankees. Okay? So right now, I choose y'all over them. Okay? Because y'all didn't sign Freddie Freeman.
How long are you going to deal with being hurt by your own team?
Hurt. I'm not hurt. I'm not on the IL like the team is. Okay? My team didn't really hurt me. They all hurt themselves. Okay? The training staff hurt me. Okay? Okay? Just saying. We got more people on the IL. Just saying. But it did. Okay? Us going on the IL also got me Hai-Sun Kim. Shortstop of the future right there, man.
He could really be something decent for you guys. The one
and it showed us
y'all been missing.
And it showed us that we don't need Sean Murphy. Okay? We can ship Sean Murphy. We have Drake Baldwin. Could win the Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, he's going to lose to Cade Horton from the Cubs pitcher, even though we know we can talk about that if we want to, because, you know, just saying Rookie of the Year should go to a player that plays a lot. Okay? Paul Skeens, all you did was pitch the ball, still lost a bunch, just saying. But that's for another day.
I mean, what do you do? Give them, like, I understand they're eligible for Cy Young, but let's talk about that for a second, okay? No rookie pitcher is going to win the Cy Young. Never, ever.
Hold on, hear me out. I thought about this today after we had a conversation. Okay, not to bring up the NFL, but the NFL has a defensive rookie and an offensive rookie of the year for both the NFC and AFC. Why not we do a pitcher rookie of the year and a batting, like a fielding rookie of the year? Because batting and infielding outfield, basically it's the same person basically. Then you eliminate to be honest, because when Paul Skeens won Rookie of the Year, there were some infielders and outfielders that were putting up great numbers. To be honest,
Agreed.
They weren't talked about because it was Paul Skeens, let's be honest. And the only reason we talked about Paul Skeens, number 1 overall pick, national championship at LSU, but you really didn't do anything because, not trying to hate on the Pirates, but I didn't hear anything about any other Pirate. The only reason we heard about O'Neill Cruz this year is because, he hit one so far at Truist Park, it's still trying to land, But, I'd rather give the Rookie of the Year, and it might just be me, give it to a person that's playing. Because to be honest, we had this discussion about Judge and Cal Riley. I'm on Team Cal, you're on Team, Judge, and it's understandable. But it also doesn't help Cal's stats that he gets a break every 2 games. Where, to be honest, if Judge didn't get hurt, does Judge ever come out of the lineup in right field? Okay, see, and unfortunately, the catcher, which needs a break because pitchers beat up catchers. Okay.
Difference is that Cal had more games played this season and more plate appearances, but had lower stats.
Yes, it also, I will agree. Yes, but my thing is, if Cal is playing any other position, does Cal get more talked about? Like, is his numbers, because he's not getting a break at the plate, is his batting average higher to where he's competing against Judge?
Fair.
I mean, because look at Ohtani.
Why can't he go to the?
Well, because they were trying to save his kneecap, so when he hits 35, he doesn't feel like he's got jello at the knee. Okay.
Well, that sounds like your problem. You chose the position.
I agree, but no one told Aaron Judge to go play right field instead of first base.
I mean, listen, do you want a catcher that tall behind the plate? No.
I would, because here's the thing. You're never throwing it over his head. Just say. As a parent of a catcher, my catcher's short that I coach, okay? It's just a little height challenge right now.
Faster pop time. Ain't much ground to make up for.
Judge wouldn't have to pop time. He's throwing from his knees. He's already halfway up. Just saying. Okay. Judge could have played first base. You're never out overthrowing his head.
Yeah, fair.
No one told Judge he had to go play right.
Imagine if he had like a good split that he could do, the distance he could cover.
Yeah, exactly. There's never going to be another close play. I'm just saying. You need a first baseman. I'm just saying. Teach Ben Rice to play right field. Okay?
No, I like Ben behind the plate if he can get a little more time there.
Only when he's pitching the max, okay? So we can have the fried rice combination coming at you.
Fried rice?
Yeah. So.
Listen, I am excited for this postseason. I'm excited to remind you day in, day out, how I did what I said I was going to do in fantasy and win it all.
Congratulations. You're in the pool of the champions with me, okay? Where were you at in the postseason last year? I don't remember. Were you even in the postseason? I don't remember seeing you.
I got bounced in the second round.
Okay, yeah. See, at least I made it one game from the championship. I am the first champion of Inside the Fowl podcast, league. So It's okay. Welcome to the championship table, okay? Welcome. I'm the head of the table. Been there, done that. Congratulations.
Until I get number 2, and you're sitting there with 1, because I'm going to do it back to bat.
See, the real question is, how well are we going to do? Okay, you know what? You guys are going to hear it first. I'm going to put me and Ethan in the same division next year, okay? We're going to settle
how that's going to go. You're going to take an L.
Right. But remember, we're adding more teams. So right now, we can add it up to 4 people, okay? We already have 2. So if 2 more listeners want to join, we'll up it to 4 more teams. It's a keeper league. It's free, pure entertainment, So, yeah.
He's not ready.
You're finally on my level of champions, okay? So, I have one question for you.
Here?
Hold on. I have one serious question, and you can ask me the same question. If you could pick one team that's not in the postseason on both NL, AL, that you could swap a team with, who would you rather see in the postseason just for a storyline?
The Athletics pop Boston out.
Okay. Who would you pick for the NL?
You can either take Boston or you can either take Boston out or you can take Cleveland out. I don't care which one. Throw the Athletics in there. NL, you know what? Take out the Dodgers. Give me the Marlins.
Okay. See, I'm going to tell you, mine is kind of similar to your A's, but I am flipping y'all with Boston, and you're going to Tampa to play the Rays. and I'm taking out Boston. I'm just making y'all go play the Rays in your own AAA stadium.
Okay.
Because storyline,
whole crowd. Imagine what that looks like. It's
Yes.
also a smaller ballpark, but it's
yeah. And my AL, I'm going to be honest. I am taking out the Dodgers. I'm not putting in the Braves as you think coming. I want to put in. You ready for this? I want to put in the Giants.
okay. Verlander,
Just because, yeah. And knowing that if the Red Sox I kept in, Devers versus the Red Sox, who's going to get the ring? Because either way, he gets a ring no matter who wins,
Imagine getting two. That'd be kind of funny. Like you get two, like not two World Series rings. Excuse me.
Like the NLCS,
two championship series rings types things. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, because I thought about this earlier after I talked to you. I was like, how cool would it be if the Rays somehow got in and finished ahead of the Yankees, and the Yankees had to travel down to Tampa to play in a AAA stadium? How cool would that be?
That would be kind of funny.
Because the Rays are just making more money that they have to pay you because they're using your stadium a little bit longer. So, quick question. How many runs did you pick for your tiebreaker? So, side note, we're going to backtrack really quick. So, the tiebreaker for the ESPN Inside the Fowl postseason bracket challenge is how many total runs will be scored in the 2025 MLB postseason. So, if there's a tie and it comes down, that is the tiebreaker. I saw that, and I'm going to be honest. I think I undershot it with 85. Okay.
In the entire postseason.
Yeah. So, that's from wild card rounds all the way to the World Series. I saw that and I was like, this is an interesting question to bring up because I feel like I undercut it with 85. But I also don't think, what if it's a low scoring postseason? Is 85 too high?
I picked 138. So I started doing a little bit of math. Okay. So if you take, and let me pull up my bracket so I can do this right. Okay.
This is going to be great. This is going to help me change my answer. Podcast's going to hear it first.
So if you take Tigers and Guardians, right? Okay. And we'll say on a low scoring affair, 3 runs apiece. Okay. We'll say 5 for the first game because somebody wins there. Okay.
Yeah.
You take the second game and you double that because teams come back and they fight harder, closer games. It's the postseason. So you say 5 for the first round, you say 10 for the second round. Let's say you get round 3 out of a few of these, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Yankees, Red Sox. Okay. Let's say you get, a good, really, really good game out of both of those. You get 12 in one game. You get 6 and 6. Okay. What are you over there doing?
I'm adding runs now. Because
that's game 1. Because that game's going to come out high scoring, and then the next game you only get 4. Okay, you only get 4, 3 and 1. Game goes to 3. You're going to add another 10. Okay, 7-4. Padres Cubs. That's a high scoring affair on both sides because both your pitchers are dogged today. You're going to give me at least 10 for the first game. You're going to give me 8 for the second game. Okay, and that one goes to 3, so we're going to throw another 5.
All right.
Okay, what are we at?
85 has totally been read out. Yeah, you're close to 85 already. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to this one. Okay, Guardians Mariners. This game is over. This is a 5-game series? It's a 5-game series.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also have to think there's another 5. I'm beginning to think my number's not good enough, but we're going to go through this. Okay, the Guardians and the Mariners, that game is going to be close the first game because both your ace pitchers are going to be out there. That's a 3-score game. Okay, then you go to the second game. Somebody's bullpen's getting lit up. You're going to give me 8 there. It's going to end up 7-3, or not 7-3. It's going to be 5-3 or something. Okay, then in game 3, one of these teams could decide it, but you're going to give me about 6 for that one. Because one team's going to take the lead, and it's not going to be enough. So then you go to game 4, the game that'll give you everything. Okay, Mariners win in 4. You're going to give me 5 on that one. Okay, Yankees, Blue Jays. That thing's going. That's a slugfest from hell. You got 12 on the first one.
I don't think I have enough at 115 now. I went from 85 to 115.
Then you go game 2. Okay, that game's going to be a 4-run affair. Okay, And then in game 2, it's going to be a 7-1 lopsided 8-run game. Okay, it's going to be weird. I don't know who's going to win that one, but this one's the one that I could see going to 5 games too. Okay, a little biased opinion there. Okay,
I feel like this is Big Bang Theory math. I feel like we need a chalkboard for this. Just saying.
So this one goes to, what is it? I stopped at game 3. So game 4, okay, that game's going to end in a 3-1, something like that, 4 runs. Okay. Then in the last game is going to end with like a 5-4 9-run game. Okay, whoever wins that one. Then we still got National League. Okay, this is only division series. Okay, Dodgers Phillies. Okay, that game is going to be so low scoring in the first 2 games because both of those teams have great pitching. You're going to see a 3-run game in the first one and a 5-run game in the second. Okay, 3-2, 1-2, 1-3, somewhere in there. Okay, so you're going to add like 8 runs for the first 2 games there. Then game 3. Okay, somebody's going to have to give you a bullpen, maybe game 4. So we're going to say game 3, you'll win that one like 5-3, so an 8-run game. Then that bullpen game in game 4, your bullpen's going to get eaten up, and that's when the Phillies beat the Dodgers, and they win that one 7-1 with 8 runs. Okay. Then
this is what I hear with your mouth. Your math. This is all I hear. Dingers, dingers, dingers. Okay. Nothing but. Okay. That's all we're hearing. You know, man, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on my.
What are we at, Chris?
I think we passed 125. My question is does your math equal this? Okay. Are we breaking out aluminum bats now? Are we just.
No, you got to think, okay. If I'm giving you 8 runs across the whole game, okay? So you're going to get a game where it's 3-4, 4-3, maybe
and some
even
of these
6-2.
are going to go game 4, game 5, maybe in round 2.
Exactly. So think of it like that. It's not counting just the runs or the home runs. No, it's asking for the runs of these games. And there's multiple games. You got 3 in the first round. You got 5 in the second. You got 5 in the third round, and then 7 in the final round.
I'm just saying, Sheldon Cooper, slow it down because I wanted my 85 to get me there. Okay, I wanted the tiebreaker to be like, all right, 85. All right. Now I'm thinking I need to go bring out my chalkboard, my dry eraser, and then just sit there and go, yeah, I might have to stay up all night comparing matchups.
I couldn't believe that you said 85 because I'm sitting here like there's so many games left to play. If you just count it by games, okay, you've got 3 games in the first round across 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 times 7 is, or 3 times 4 is what? 12. Okay, you got 12 games starting Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping 1-run ball games. Okay, 6 runs. Congratulations. Okay, I was aiming for the low. You know.
No. Have you been watching baseball this season? Come on, Chris.
I have. I was trying to break the thing.
So listen, you gotta think about it logically when you start looking at your extra runs. So everyone doing their brackets, good luck. I hope you guys do a little more math than Chris did.
Yep. On that note, guys, hopefully you enjoy the postseason. Let us know in the comments how your bracket's looking after tomorrow. You know, after game 1, how's your brackets looking? You know, because hopefully, Ethan's going to get a lot of text messages. How about those socks? Okay. And then he's going to reply back. How about that couch? Listen, we need the Dodgers to lose. Okay. I don't mind the Cubs fan because, the Cubs are the Cubs. All right, guys. We will see you back on episode 35.
Next time, everybody.
Later.